a human right, it has been our mandate and responsibility as the public broadcaster to provide compelling education content that is key to fully developing human capital and enhancing more democratic and cohesive society. Nearly 2 years since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, our environment has changed significantly, testing our most enduring resilience to hold on what was. As a result, learning has become more complex, posing immeasurable challenge to educators, administrators, and learners. The challenge presented the SABC with an opportunity to innovate its offering and to explore new ways of fulfilling our public mandate of informing, educating, entertaining nation citizens. To this effect, in 2022, the SABC launched a dedicated SABC education channel in response to a national lockdown that restricted movement and disrupted regular schooling. Our radio and television platforms became key vehicles for learners to access curriculum-based content. Geleza Nathi, DBE Learning Tube, and Woza Matric are examples of programs introduced to provide critical revision, curriculum support, as well as exam preparations for grades 10 to 12 across all subject areas. The SABC extended its education program to digital platform in response to fast-changing broadcasting environment of technology. We digitally streamed SABC education channels using a portal and enhanced our education visual academy to ensure that learners are supported anywhere and at any time. We recognize that not all learners have succeeded in matriculating today. For this reason, the SABC will launch a campaign called #MatricCentric, aimed at guiding matriculants as they navigate life after high school, while equally providing support to those who will rewrite their matric exams. Ladies and gentlemen, these other educational interventions demonstrate our commitment to ensure that the SABC fulfills its mandate in delivering content that cultivates learning and restores dignity of South African citizens. As a public broadcaster, we will continue to discharge our mandate of providing educational content which is exciting and innovative, from the foundation phase to matric and beyond. On behalf of the SABC, I would like to congratulate the learners, the educators, the Department of Basic Education for your remarkable achievement despite untold challenge this past year. It has been a long journey, but your perseverance has paid off. To our learners, as you go to pursue further studies, I would like to borrow a few words from one of the continent's great sons, President Barack Obama, who writes, "Keep exploring, keep dreaming, keep asking why. Don't settle for what you already know. Never stop believing in the power of your ideas, your imagination, your hard work to change the world." I thank you.
Thank you very much to you. Certainly do appreciate you giving us that warm welcome to everyone who is indeed here. In a moment, of course, the moment we've all been looking forward to, and I wonder, Minister, if this is the most stressful time of your life or your favorite time of the year. So Minister Motshekga will certainly be coming onto the stage to address us, and we'll be giving out the awards to the top learners that are indeed with us here today. And just to let you know, when we do get to that prize giving ceremony, just a reminder indeed to the students, we will call out the third place learner. The third place learner, if you can please stand up. so that we can see you and acknowledge you. The second place learner, if you can also do the same, stand up so that we can acknowledge you. And then when I refer to the first placed learner in each category, you will then kindly move forward, come close, and go to the minister. The minister will then give you an award, and then of course you will then return to your seat. So certainly that is what we're all looking forward to at this time, but also that the minister will be giving us an indication as to how the different provinces did perform. And I can see most of the MECs who will be very nervous today to see where they are placed. Good luck to all of you. This always feels like some sort of test for you guys. Hey, and then you've got your principal right there to tell you how you indeed achieved and how you did for the year. So we'll certainly be watching you and how you performed. I do believe at this time there is a video that has been put together by the Department of Basic Education, and I think it shows just the work that's been put into the work of the learners and the matric. Of course, for 2 years, or over 2 years now, we've been dealing with a pandemic, and I think it's so important to applaud these learners who have had to not only worry about matric. We've all been through that phase where you've really sort of been stressed out for the whole year, but then also having to deal with the fact that we are in a pandemic. So not the usual sort of learning that we've had to enjoy in class, where they've had to deal with a number of challenges. So the fact that these are the top learners today that we are acknowledging today really speaks volumes about them, the kind of people that they are, and certainly where they will go in future. So we're really proud of you. Before we even start the part of the achievements and what you've done and what you've achieved, but really it is just amazing the fact that you are just seated here. All right, so let's indeed take a look. I think it is ready now. The video by the Basic Education Department of how the year was, the past year of 2021, and the matriculants of 2021, how they performed. Let's wait a second for that.
At least one person has been injured after a storm hit parts of the Free State earlier this week. The storm also caused damage to a marking center in Tabanchu.
The Department of Basic Education says some matric exam scripts may have been damaged in the incident. Accounting paper 2 and business paper 2 were being marked.
In Israel, the papers are everywhere. We really need your assistance. I got most of the markers in the hall. It's rain, it's water everywhere with all the scripts inside for business studies paper 2.
So there was no instruction given to collect scripts. It was a natural act of every single person in that hall. I just heard scripts, scripts, scripts. That's the word I was hearing. People praying and scripts.
The ceiling is falling and there are scripts there is hail. I thought to myself, this needs divine intervention. And really, I think that is exactly what happened, because markers were supposed to have ran for their lives. They did, and they came back to get the scripts because they wanted to save the lives of the candidates, because a script is a life of a person. So they did exactly that, which I thought is really, really commendable. The markers need to be applauded. They are heroes and heroines. They saved the day.
When one looks at the videos, you can't believe that you were actually inside. When you look at those videos, it's then that you realize, no, the grace of God, it's unimaginable.
We were marking, it was raining just like any other days, because during that week it started raining, and the week before that. So we took it as a normal rain, because usually at that time it rains. So we took it like a normal rain, and then we had sounds.
There was a moment when it sounded like a helicopter above the hall. So it sounded like it's going to crash into us. We heard whoop, whoop, whoop the whole time. And that was actually the storm taking off the roof, and we didn't even know it.
But I remember I saw the roof being ripped off by a strong sound of an aeroplane, and bang! and I hid myself under the table.
We thank God and the departments and everybody who from that day were giving us support, especially the wellness employees were here to give us support, because we know that when things are like this, we don't mourn or react to the shock in the same way manner.
The department organized a social worker for us, and then that's when I realized that, you know, it was a life-threatening situation, to be honest. That's when I thought about it, and then because even some of our colleagues, when they spoke to a person from wellness, that's when they became aware to say that this thing was a life-threatening situation.
So now what I can say is that they are really frustrated and hurt. Some even indicated that their cars were destroyed. There is so much damage that has been done. It's not only emotionally and even on their own properties. So their cars were not in good condition. The windscreen were broken. The cars has dents. You know, it's actually not a very good state of mind. They wanted even not to mark on the particular day.
I don't know what I can say to you, but I thought I was going to die. I thought all of us were going to die. But I just want to say God has protected us. God has shown us that He is our mighty God.
And I also want to thank the department for what they did for us, counseling us through that traumatic experience, and their presence, the Department of Education coming, you know, seeing the CEO of Manusi, the Comets, you know, SATU, our organization also came.
I knew that if a script goes missing, it's not a matter of, oh, just one script is missing. Just one script is just one person's life that cannot get the matric results. And I knew that was my responsibility because I had been running the in and out, and I knew it was my job to locate the scripts at any given moment that people needed. And I knew that was my responsibility, and I think that was the biggest thing for me is, am I going to be able to find every script? Are we going to be able to account? Are we going to be able to find the owners of all the scripts? That was the biggest thing that kept me up at night.
We had to save what we could, and that's what the director said when we called him. He said, no, save what you could.
We are glad to report today that all the scripts have been found, which means all the 24,519 scripts can now be fully accounted for. They have saved the integrity, the credibility, and the image of the entire National Senior Certificate Examination.
Without drama, Minister. So, you know, for us to get here, it takes a very long road. And of course, it comes with things that you didn't expect. I mean, you would expect that, you know, flood would have caused so much issues. So certainly well done to the Department of Basic Education that we are indeed here today and able to release those results. Let me introduce onto the stage Minister of Basic Education, Motshekga.
Program Director, let me acknowledge my colleagues, Dr. Muhaule, MECs from the different provinces, officials from both national and provinces. Also acknowledge our host and the senior leadership of the SABC. Acknowledge our partners, our teacher unions present, institutions I see, our partners in the department. Acknowledge Umalus, I see, Prof. and your team. But also acknowledge our sponsors and supporters of the program. Acknowledge our most important people for tonight, our learners, their parents, and educators who accompanied their children to this matric announcement. So indeed, Program Director, we're gathered here to announce the 2021 National Senior Certificate exam results. And as we've said earlier, that the class of 2021 was the most affected by COVID-19 pandemic because they had to endure 2 consecutive years of harsh exposure to the unrelenting COVID-19 pandemic. As government, with our partners, our strategic partners, we worked tirelessly to strike the balance between saving lives and saving the 2021 academic year. Over the past 3 years, Program Director, we have continuously reminded the nation about the 7 basic sector principles of the 6th administration, which include that we have to deal decisively with the quality and efficiency of the education system through implementing, amongst others, standardized assessments at various exit points of the system at grade 3, 6, and 9, and offering the general education certificate before the grade 12 exit qualification, so that we're able to direct our learners through different pathways and introduce multiple qualifications and certification. As many countries of the world, we continue to review our education strategies in the context of COVID-19. There is a commitment from our side to make sure that we understand the early years of schooling and tracking learning losses through the different phases of the system. We have to make sure that we better respond to the NDP injunction, namely that the performance of our South African learners in international assessment tests have to make sure that we empower our young people to receive the best education comparable to countries of our economic level. So we do this in the context of a national assessment framework, which we call NEF. Several activities have already been introduced in 2021 to generate data on the status of learning at key transition points. And these include and are not limited to administration of an early learning national assessment, which we call ELNA, in grade 1, to make sure that we are confident that our learners are very ready to enter grade 1. Again, the progress in international literary studies, which we call PILS at grade 4, and also the SACMEC, which is the Southeastern Consortium on Monitoring Education Quality at grade 6. And all these are to make sure that we indeed benchmark ourselves against the world, but also make sure that we can track and monitor progress throughout the system and not only at grade 12. And because we don't have much time to go through the results of all these tests, I really want to implore South Africans to visit our website and to read more about our innovative assessment strategies. In February to March this year, we will introduce a systemic evaluation study of grade 3, 6, and 9, which are the critical exit points of our education system before grade 12, in order to better understand the learning trajectory from primary to secondary schools. And these initiatives will add to the current grade 12 NSC examination results and give a more comprehensive picture of the impact of COVID, but also of the South African schooling system. So within this framework, the department has taken steps towards the introduction of the General Education Certificate, which is an old commitment since 1995, and it comes from the White Paper on Education and Training, the Government Notice 196 of 1995. This general certificate is seen as an important and progressive qualification that allows for learners after 10 years of schooling, which is grade 9, to be recognized for the level of curriculum attainment, the general capabilities and talents through issuing a report or a certificate. And to achieve this goal, The proposed assessment model has been designed to integrate the 21st century skills into school-based assessments, standardized curriculum tests through an inclination assessment. So information and scores from these components will be used to generate a report card reflecting a holistic dashboard of learner skills and capabilities. As a department, we've consulted broadly with basic education sector stakeholders, with our partners and experts in the most appropriate model for the general education certificate, and public comments have been considered in amending the draft policy. This year, about 300 schools will participate in the GEC pilot, with the further upscaling in 2023, and by 2024, all schools will be participating in the GEC policy. On the National Senior Certificate, which is what we've come for it, Program Director, during last year's budget debate on basic education, we did remind the nation that we are increasingly prioritizing interventions, improvement programs, and policies that target improved quality learning and teaching, and implementing accountability systems to ensure that quality outcomes are achieved through the system of basic education. Given South Africa's divided past and the continued negative impact of socio-economic realities on learning outcomes, the interventions and improvement programs we continuously introduce and are attempting to counteract the unintended negative impact and learning deficits on learner attainment. And our interventions continue to cater for both learners where the risk of underperformance, the learners who are moderate to high achievers, and this differentiated approach does aim to address both deficiencies that may prevent learners from achieving good educational outcomes, as well as providing support to moderate and high achievers to improve their performance, thereby improving quality learning outcomes. And this has led to, despite the devastation brought by COVID-19 pandemic, our interventions were multi-pronged. We focused on saving lives against the novel COVID-19, while focusing on improving the quality and efficiency of learning and teaching outcomes. We continue to the differentiated timetable, the trimmed curriculum delivery for the school committees below grade 12, the regular provisioning of extra tuition and support provided to the matric class of 2021, and all these were intended to mitigate against the risks that were brought about by the prolonged absence of learners from schools. It is therefore correct, I think, Chair, to contextualize a hostile environment within which the class of 2021 set for the 2021 National Senior Certificate. We are also grateful, Prof, that Umalusi declared the credibility and the integrity of the 2021 National Senior Examinations. We are happy to inform the public that Umalusi, your Quality Council in general and further education and training, has declared that, and I quote, there were no systemic irregularities reported that might have compromised the credibility and the integrity of the November 2021 National Senior Certificate examinations administered by DBE, and for that we are very grateful and are very appreciative. And the Executive Committee of Umalusi further approved the release, and I quote, the release of the DBE November 2021 NSC's examination results based on the available evidence that the examinations were administered in accordance with the examination policies and regulations, and for that we are also very grateful and appreciative. Program Director, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2021 is the fourth cohort of learners to sit for the National Senior Certificate and the eighth cohort to be exposed to CAPS curriculum. It is the fourth cohort to be introduced to 12 new additional offerings, comprising African Sign Language as a home language, written by 127 candidates. Again, this cohort wrote exams in civil technologies, mechanical technologies, and electrical technologies. They also set for or wrote technical mathematics and technical science, which were written by about 50,330 learners. And this very class was impacted by policy changes. We did away with the policy of progression so that all learners that were progressed had to write a full exam and couldn't break the exam into pieces. We also had to divide some of our question papers, make sure that there are now 2 question papers in accounting, 2 papers in business studies, and we are offering a 3rd paper for all second language, additional languages. In addition, new subjects such as dramatic arts were written this year, music, marine sciences, and practical assessment tasks for technical mathematics, as well as changes to the structure and duration of some of the exam papers. And the total number of candidates who registered in 2021 was 897,163, which was an increase of 23.6% from 2020. And we say this is the largest cohort that we had to present this year. And of these, 733,198 were full-time, which is an increase of 20%. We also had 163,965 part-time learners, again, which was an increase of about 41.5% new learners as compared to last year. And Chair, if I had time, I would again be taking the nation through what the past requirements of NEC, because sometimes there's a misunderstanding about what does it take to have a bachelor, a diploma, as a senior certificate. And because we don't have time, I'll again encourage people to visit our website to say, to get a bachelor's degree, you need at least 4 of your subjects at 50%. You have to pass your language at 40%. You have to pass 6 out of 7 subjects to get. But those details are contained in our website, and we really encourage people to do that so that we debate on an equal level and we're all equally informed. So, Program Director, we saw 61,780 learners progressed. And these will be learners that would not have sat for the exams if we had not condoned them and also put in place mechanisms to support them. And 21,000 of these, 21,469, they passed from those that we had to condone, which represents 37.8% of progress learners that have passed. Amongst these that we have progressed, 3,440 got bachelors, 8,894 got diplomas, and 9,640 got their senior certificate. And as I say, even amongst the learners that we have progressed and we had to condone, we got 1,484 distinctions. And some of the distinctions came from maths, accounting, business studies, and physical science. And I think as we all know that these progress learners, they would have been either repeaters, dropouts, or they would have been discouraged from staying at school. So we're very glad and very appreciative, MECs, that you did support these learners so that they stay longer and we can see something. We also believe as a sector in an inclusive education system which has to contribute towards an inclusive economy to serve an inclusive society. So providing learners with special education needs access to quality basic education program is imperative, and it's based on the constitutional imperatives of social justice, principles of equity, inclusivity, and redress, amongst others. So we have in the past few years, we have included the learners with special education needs in tracking learner performance at the senior certificate. And we can say our special learners, there were 2,489 of them, and from them, 80.8% of them passed. And from them, we have a number of distinctions in critical subjects. As I say, we have a number of bachelors. We have 879 bachelors from them. We have 636 diplomas and 314 certificates coming from this cohort. The other thing that we track also as a system, it's a pro-poor package. We want to report that, for instance, as early or as late as 2005, schools that are no-fee paying schools contributed 20% to bachelors. Now in 2021, they have contributed 62% bachelors. So from 20% to 62%. Which helps greatly to close the gap between the bachelor passes in no-fee schools and making sure that we close the gap between the different schools in our communities. So again, Chair, we'll be the first to concede that challenges continue in our sector. To date, greater equity and redress still have to be systematically addressed. Inequalities still remain in the system. And it is worth mentioning that the poor funded schools, the provision of nutritious meals on a daily basis, and the provision of scholar transport to deserving learners on a daily basis. And these interventions, we can confirm that they have definitely improved access, they've improved retention, and are simultaneously promoting equity and quality immeasurably. Equally impressive was the fact that 120 young people who are in correctional centers who registered for matric, 89.2% of them passed. And some got bachelors and degrees. On gender, again, we had more learners, girl learners sitting for exams. About 77,250 of them. It was actually in addition to the number of boy learners. There were 77,250 more girls who sat for matric. But also what is encouraging, because I always get, including my son, to say, what about men? We can report that 76.4% of the boys who wrote passed. And we calculated for a long time, Digi tells me, and also 76.4% of the girls passed. So we achieved our 50-50. Again, in the full speech, we give you details about how the girl child passed. They had more bachelors this year. They had more diplomas. As I say, we had more numbers of that grouping of young people. We also have to account, as I said, for 4 categories. On the progression of learners who are struggling, on what we are doing for special needs education, also monitor the poor policies of governments, and also make sure that we aggregate our information according to gender. So on the overall national performance, which brings us to the overall results of 2021 NSC examinations, Program Director. It is also important to remind the nation that for the past 10 years, the NSC pass rate has consistently been going up from 60% in 2009 to above 70%. And the class of 2021, this one, must be commended for maintaining this trend despite the astronomical challenges that they had to face. The 2021 NSC overall pass rate, including the progress learners, stands at 76.4%, which is an improvement of 0.2%. So we've moved from 76.4 to 76.6. If we exclude our progressed learners, we will be speaking about a pass rate of 79.8%, which is 0.2% short of the 80% figure that we are always striving for since 2019. When we further analyze the results, 256,031 learners, which is 36.4%, got bachelors. Again, it's an increase from last year, the number of bachelors that we received this year. So we say the number of bachelors is the highest attained in the entire history of the NSC exams, but the second highest to that attained in 2019 when expressed as percentages, because the point is we had more learners this year, so more young people got bachelors. But when we use the percentage, this year's percentage in terms of bachelor passes is next to the 2019 bachelor passes. And I'm very glad and humbled that the two MECs from KZN and Gauteng are here. As big systems, they've contributed to the greater number of bachelors. Between these two provinces, we have produced 117,704 bachelors, which constitutes 46% of the overall bachelor passes nationally. This year we have 177,572 diplomas, which represent 25.2% of the learners who have written. And the number of candidates who have passed higher certificate, and again, if I had time, I will explain to get a bachelor, what percentage to get a diploma, what percentage to get a higher certificate, what percentage. So we have 103,122 learners who passed with higher certificates, which constitute 14.8%. Again, you can see that in terms of percentages, it's more learners passing bachelors as compared to the other categories. And the number of learners who passed with a national senior certificate is 103. And these constitute 0.01%. So it's money and then 30%, and they don't even have to pass in 30%. It's 0.0%. 36.4 got bachelors, which means they must have 4 subjects at 50%. They must pass 6 of the 7 subjects, and that's a majority in terms of the percentages. So in 2021, a total number of 211,725 distinctions were achieved. We had more distinctions. Which is an increase of a whopping 19.3% under the very difficult conditions that our teachers and our learners have to go through. And the main contributors to these distinctions, again, as I say, your big systems, Natal will have given us 61,887 distinctions. Gauteng will have given us 47,399 distinctions. The Western Cape gave us 29,542 distinctions. The Eastern Cape, 24,174 distinctions. And Limpopo, we always talk about the Limpopo miracle. Limpopo gave us 17,755 distinctions. And we can say in 2021 program director, only one district, only one province achieved below 70%. 5 of our provinces performed at 70%, and 3 performed above 80%. And program that next time I visited the Free State, the MEC will say, repeat. So the Free State is the leading province again at 85.7%. With an improvement of 0.6%. Gauteng at 82.8% is the second highest province with an improvement, with a decline of 1%. The Western Cape achieved 81.2%, which is an improvement of 1.3%. Northwest performed at 78.2%, which is an improvement of 2.0%. KZN Bamisheng achieved 76.8%, which is a decline of 0.8%. Mpumalanga achieved 73.6%, which is a decline of 0.1%. The Eastern Cape achieved 73%, which is an improvement of 4.9%. Which indeed is great for a province, because last year we were at 60-something%, so it has gone above 60, so they're at 73%. The Northern Cape, which is the most improved province, stands at number 8 with 71.4%, and they had an improvement of 5.4%. And Province Akayabuhadi achieved, Limpopo achieved 66.7% and had a decline of 1.5%. Iwela ko fatshe ke batla re ne ke buisa ka bona. So ke re Limpopo phela nice trans ke wele fatshe taba tsa bohadi ya tsore ke di weletsa ke. And again, Program Director, we do recognize districts as a very crucial interface of the basic education sector in identifying best practice, sharing information, and providing support to schools. The continued growth in the performance of districts is closely monitored and evaluated by both provincial and national basic education departments. I meet district managers quarterly, because indeed they're our last point before we reach our center, which is the school. From the monitoring and oversight analysis of the performance of all schools, be free schools, government schools, subsidized schools, independent schools, it's our districts which help us to monitor this. And I must say, because somebody did well first in the speech, there were also which provinces, districts underperformed. I said, there is a motion. Let me talk about the top 10. The leading district nationally is Tshwane South. At 89.3%. There's a district director who retired this year from Tshwane South. Then every day even when she's in pension, she's at pension. So her district was the leading. The second leading district is Muteo in the Free State at 87.9. The third district is Vesuleda in the Free State at 87.5. The fourth is Johannesburg West in Gauteng at 86.5. And then there was a tie between Ekurhuleni South, Ekurhuleni South in Gauteng, and the Metro in the Western Cape at 86.2. The 7th is Joliput. The 8th in the Free State. The 8th is Harib. So all 4 districts of the Free State are in the top 10. All the districts. The 9th district is Johannesburg North in Gauteng, and the 10th is Eden in the Central Karoo in the Western Cape. So the 4 top districts came from the Free State, 4 from Gauteng, and the 2 came from the Western Cape. So I want to say, which it once got me into big trouble, to say which districts are at the bottom. One chief even summoned me to his village to say, why are you speaking ill of my people? So I will not repeat that. Because in that year I said, let district what says Makandi, what is one plan So I won't mention those. I'll just talk about the top districts in the provinces. The rest you'll find from the full speech. So we have written, but I'm not going to use the platform and just risk the wrath of any chief or any senior person in the village. Or even in town, if it's in the urban area. So in the Eastern Cape, the leading district is Buffalo City. It's 79%. In the Free State, the leading district is Muteo. In Gauteng, the leading district is Tshwane South. In KZN, he's the leading district in KZN. So and then in Capricorn, the leading district, which is led by Mrs. Nkuzana, is a leading district. In Mpumalanga, the leading district is Ehlanzeni, which is led by Mabrugwe. In Bujanala, in Northwest, Bujanala is a leading district at 81.6. And Stalo, in your province, in Northern Cape, it's Namakwa, which is a leading district at 81.2%. And in the Western Cape, Metro is the leading district. And indeed, as I said, Program Director, I'm looking forward to our next district meeting, where we share best practice, information, and experiences, because district directors are the closest to our schools and our children, and I really want to thank them most sincerely. So in conclusion, Program Director, there's no doubt that the system has begun to reach the desired stability. Because if you could withstand the storms, the 2-year storms, and still not come unscathed, but survive, it just shows that the system, as large as ours, complex as ours, is healthy. The unquestionable resilience of our school community has shown against a very devastating pandemic, and that cannot go unnoticed. The fact that we managed to enroll the highest number of full-time candidates for 2021 NC exams, again, is a clear sign that our communities have faith in the basic education system and the NEC exams that we are coordinating. And I'm proud to also indicate that a number of private schools also write and sit for the NEC exam. The high quality passes we have achieved this year, especially the number of bachelor's and diploma passes, the overall pass mark, and the passes with distinctions, even in critical subjects, are a hallmark of a performance of the class of 2021. The classes of 2020 and 2021 produced the best results of quality in the history of the NC exams. So I have more distinction, we have more bachelors, we have more girls sitting for exams, so we're very proud. We are indeed proud of the class of 2020 and 2021, which persevered against such monumental challenges that our system was never exposed to in the past. The two classes have characterized the resilience of the system which withstood the unprecedented test of administering an examination of the largest number of candidates faced by the worst pandemic in human history. We'll continue to expand our energies in our sector priorities. We'll continue to consolidate programs for the ECD. We plan to ramp up performance in all the 4 phases of our schooling system. We'll continue to improve the reading proficiency of our learners. We are committed and will continue to work harder and smarter with all our partners to consolidate the gains we have made in the skills revolution through the 3-stream curriculum model and the 4th industrial revolution, amongst others. We will continue to strengthen the assessment regime in all 4 phases of the system. In celebrating the great achievements of the class of 2021, we want to thank the principals, our teachers, support staff, and parents for the work they continue to do. Schools are a core phase of the basic education system. What you do at the school level is what matters most. The future of our learners and the prosperity of our nation is in the hands of our teachers, the principals, and the parents, and the communities we serve. We applaud you for great work, for your continued support work on a daily basis. I wish also to take this opportunity to thank the President Cyril Ramaphosa, and the Cabinet, the Portfolio Committee Chair, and the Select Committee, which are responsible for basic education. I want to thank my colleague, Dr. Muhaule, the honorable MECs who really work hard. I always tell people that at least I have been an MEC, and I know to be an MEC de Mudruru. Those who don't know, who have not been part of our education system, go and look for the Africans word rur. But Africans, they would rur if you are an MEC, and they rur in real sense. I want to thank the Director General and his team of selfless officials, but I also want to thank our strategic partners, our teacher unions, our governing bodies, associations, our partners, some of them here who are in business, non-governmental organizations, so some of the researchers who work with us, who support us on an ongoing basis, also institutions of higher learning which have helped us a lot on an ongoing basis. Also want to thank the NECT chair and the CEO of the NECT, which is an organization that helps the department to coordinate with different, or it helps the government to coordinate with different partners outside government. They support us through funding, they support by bringing partners to us, and thank you very much for this ongoing support. And as I say, we can feel the difference of really having strong partners partnering with us, and that makes a huge difference to our lives. I want to also thank our statutory bodies. Prof, I want to thank Umalusi. Each time we go to Umalusi, I have to phone, what are they saying? Because we know it's not easy. What is the mood? What did the chairperson look like? Was he cheeky? Are we? So we want to thank you also for the support and the guidance. We want to support the LRC also for all the work that they do with us, our researchers, whose work we cannot do without our sister departments, who really help us a lot, because we're a very big system with big problems. And on our own, we can't stand without all the partners that we need. But we also want to thank South Africans who on an ongoing basis show huge interest in the work that we do. You open a radio station, it's all about education. So you really do feel that South Africans are paying attention, they have an interest in education, and also interest in getting our children to succeed. The Deputy Minister is going to thank our partners for supporting us on an ongoing basis with skills, resources. But I have to thank MTN, so I have to. MTN for hosting us. I also want to thank SABC for hosting us. I want to thank the governing party also, because they also every day, because every day. So, but I also want to thank the governing party for keeping us on our toes. And I can say program director, and making sure that they deploy the best people in the sector. So I think when they look at, they say, who's the best in this province, and give us the best of people. So I really want to thank the governing party and the provinces. Once again, let me conclude by thanking the class of 2021. My children, thank you very much. Your future is in your hands, and I know you've made the correct choices by being the best of children. You are the best, and we want to thank you for that. As I said in the morning, you carry the hopes of your families, but for us, you also carry the hopes of the nation. We expect you to contribute towards the prosperity of this country, the growth of this country, development of this country, because you are the best, and which means you can always do the best things in life. So thank you very much for being who you are. But those, again, who have not passed, who did not do well in this exam, you say they should not despair. There are lots of life chances available to them. Those who wish to improve their results should enroll for the second chance matric program. Registration into the program is already open. So if you get your results tomorrow, you find that you want to improve your results. But also some people are late bloomers. It's only when they're older they become very developed and feel that I have really spoiled my chances, I want to use my chances, and we are saying to them, they must please register for the second chance. And program director, I think I'll be failing my duties if I don't say, already encourage our parents and communities to encourage our 12 to 7-year-olds to vaccinate. We want to encourage our educators and workers in the sector to go for the boost. And I can assure all the ones who are doubting to say there's evidence, then we have been your trial group, we can give testimony that you don't die within a year of your vaccination. This year, unlike last year, between 2020 and March this year, we had lost almost 3,000 teachers. We had lost lots of numbers of teaching days. And ever since the vaccination, we stopped because of others. They say there's a wave, then we have to wait with the wave. But in our space, we have created a very safe environment. But which does not mean that we should not continue with the health protocols, wearing masks all the time. I've actually gotten used to it. So if I don't wear masks, it's as if something is incomplete. So you continue to wear your masks, sanitize, but rather social distance, but you social distance. So, but you wear your mask, you wash your hands, you make sure that you are safe. We've invested a lot in you, so we don't want anything to happen. If you have not vaccinated, go and talk to your parents. Please vaccinate. We can assure you it's not killing. It's like penicillin. I always trusted doctors. Because when I go for any injection, I never ask what is in the penicillin. If they say you need a penicillin, I give them my arm. And I think the trust has paid dividends. The left hand and an ID, please go and speak to your parents. We want all of you to vaccinate to make sure that you are safer also in your next pursuits. But thank you very much for being the great children that you are. I want to thank parents for supporting your children. Thank teachers for really making us proud as a nation, and say, we've made it again. We've survived. for the second time. Thank you very much for really making sure that we are the survivors that we are. And thank you for everything else, MECs and our partners. We can't call you all by names. That they cause that I see quite a number of our partners are here. Prof, Walmik and everybody. Thank you, Slad, Savule. Thank you very much.
Is someone in your house writing exams? It's normal if they're afraid, so pay attention to their concerns. Help them stay calm and focused. Encourage them to get enough sleep, to exercise and eat well. Know their exam timetable. Help them to make a study schedule and stick to it. Encourage them to stay positive. But if anxiety is affecting their work, don't be afraid to get help. Ask other parents or teachers for advice. Woza Matrix.
All right, thank you very much, Minister. I think it is important for you to also raise the issue of challenges. You know, some of us, as we are on air on SABC News, we certainly do punish you about it, and we talk a lot about it. I see some of the people here that I cross-examine sometimes on air, and it's difficult to face them now. Hey, all right. So let's get to the most important part of today. And Minister, you said a lot of numbers. I must tell you, I wasn't great at maths at school, but I did hear you say that 897,963 learners sat for a matric 2021. So as we are indeed acknowledging the top achievers in our country, let's just remember what a big feat that is. That is no small feat. The fact that they were able to come out tops from such a huge number of matriculants who indeed sat for matric 2021. Minister, I will ask you to please, if you can, just step forward so that you are able to congratulate those that are placed first. These are not learners I have to repeat things to, but I will do it nonetheless. So, as we said before, if you are in third place, please stand so we can see you and acknowledge you, and sit again. Second place, if you can do the same, you stand, we acknowledge you. And then the first place, you will then come forward, come to the Minister, and go back to your seat. All right, so let's begin then with that, as we start, of course, with the prizes and the awards then. I will be speaking about which province the learners are from, so that we know how they did. Yes, Deputy Minister, thank you very much. Right. Let's begin with quintile 1, the prizes for quintile 1. And in third place, we have from KZN, Pila Lungani Mbuyisa from Nsalamanga High. If you can stand for us. Second place, Fiso Hosana from Bumalanga, Mafemani Ngumalo Secondary School. And first place is Rick Wilberforce Nkosi from Bumalanga as well, Slamafasa Secondary School. Step forward for us. And of course, as we did mention, you know, many matriculants are sitting down for these exams. We're not sure what the MECs are laughing about here, but all right. Indeed, that is a learner from Mpumalanga, so we can celebrate that for you, Mpumalanga. All right, let's go to mathematics then, my least favorite subject, in fact. Third placed is Ruan Herman Burr from Paul Ruiz, that's from the Western Cape. Second place is Anna Christina Creel from Renish Girls High in the Western Cape. First place, please step forward, Ziad Bandaka from Rondebosch Boys High in the Western Cape as well. Western Cape with maths, there we go. All three learners from the Western Cape in quintile 1 mathematics. Let's move on to quintile 2 then, third place, Mpendulo Nzoia from the Eastern Cape, Gominamba Senior Secondary School. Second place is Raymond Mamabolo from Chipatabane Secondary School. That's in Gauteng Province. You can tell I'm from Gauteng Province. All right, first place, Kotatso Angela Gugumpaka from Komtlanga Secondary School in Mpumalanga again. All right, let's move on to technical maths then. And we start in third place with Innocent Josia Matonzi from Mpumalanga, from the DD Mabuza Comprehensive High. All right, second place is Abonile Nkonjane from Fosloras Comprehensive Secondary, GP again. All right, and then first place is Gift Makosa Mbizwe from SJ van der Merwe Technical School, Limpopo. Step forward, yeah. All right, congratulations there to Limpopo in first place there for technical maths. All right. I think you might want to pose for that photo. It's not going to come again. That opportunity doesn't come every day. All right. We're on quintile 3 now, and third place is Bongile Faith Sitole from Harry Oppenheimer Secondary, that's Limpopo Province. Second place is Lynn Tinaye Mpangane from Okutsalani Secondary in Mpumalanga. KZN, here you come. First place. The first one. Asanda Nosipo Mtalose from Betamoya High in KZN. All right, so they're KZN featuring first place there. That's quintile 3 for Asanda. Congratulations. Okay, let's move to physical science, another difficult subject, right? Third placed from Hoërskool Noorderland is Dichochi Ramatlou from Limpopo. If you can stand up. Second place, Fiso Hosana from Mafemani Nxumalo Secondary School in Mpumalanga. And Kale Bessit, you can step forward in first place there, Gauteng Province, St. Barnabas College. Congratulations to you. All right, then we move to quintile 4. Begin with third place is Delisha Davana from Limpopo Toyando Secondary School. Second place in Tlengi Shange, Menzi High, KZN. KZN, first place, Port Shepstone Secondary, we have Iman Khan. Congratulations to you there. All right, let's move on to technical science in quintile 4. In third place is Mlungisi Ngwaba from from Siabonga High, that's in KZN. Second place, Lunga Dube from Vryheid Comprehensive, also in KZN. And in first place, Innocent Josiah Matonzi from DD Mabuza Comprehensive High, and that is in Mpumalanga. I do believe that this school is doing amazing things from what I've read. Congratulations to you. All right, move on to quintile 5 then, and another one from Rhenish Girls in third place, Ayung Moon. I do understand that she's actually abroad at this time, and but the father is here. If you can stand up so we can acknowledge you. Congratulations to you, and please pass our congratulations to your daughter. Yeah, that's Western Cape, representing Western Cape. In second place, Western Cape again, Simone Vessels from Stellenberg High. And then in first place, Ulrich Leroux from Hoër Jongen School Paal, Western Cape. All right, we move on to... All right, let's move on to South African Sign Language. There's the naughty corner right there. Where the noise is, there's the naughty corner. Minister, be aware. Yeah, right there. All right, so South African Sign Language then in third place, Siyanda Anele Gumede from Kwatwindwa School for the Deaf. That's in KZN. In second place, Rabetsui Liakwakwe from St. Vincent School, Gauteng Province. And in first place, you can step forward for us, please, Zanokuhle Sisanda Lepu from St. Vincent School, Gauteng Province. All right, congratulations. And we will also be acknowledging, in fact, special needs education. All right, so special needs education. In third place, Kensani Maringa from Gauteng Province. The school is Philadelphia. In second place, Azra Ibrahim from Open A in KZN. And in first place, I think he will be assisted, please, if he can step forward, is Letabo Malega. And this is very important. He's vision impaired from Limpopo, and really such an amazing achievement from Setotolwane School. So those are the learners that we are indeed acknowledging this evening. Now we get to the big one, the biggest one. All right, so this is the overall 2021 NSC top learner. That's the top learner in the entire country. I don't know how you did it, but really this is quite the achievement. In the whole of South Africa, you are number one. I mean, you think it's great to be number one at your school, but in the whole country. Ulrich Leroux, it's all yours. Please give him a round of applause. From Western Cape, Hoër Jongen School Paal. Yeah, representing the Western Cape province, top learner in the country. Deputy Minister, I do believe it's over to you for some of the closing remarks. So yes, you can get your iPad at this time. But certainly congratulations to all the learners that we've acknowledged and the provinces that have performed well. This really is an indication of what we can do. Deputy Minister, over to you.
Rightly. Oh, thank you. Imask Pel. Okay, thank you. Minister, thank you very much for this opportunity to say thank you to you. Yeah, you thanked everybody except yourself, and it cannot happen that you thank yourself. We are here to say thank you for being a good driver. A driver who can drive on the mountain, who can drive in the mud, who can drive on the sand. You are a good driver. Thank you very much. Yes, in the past 2 years that you are a new Minister for Basic Education, we have done well. And we have done very well under the circumstances. It has been, of course, a challenging period for the basic education sector in particular, and life in general has also been turned upside down by COVID-19. The year 2021 also came with its own challenges, with the rotational timetabling still in place. The fact that we are here today is a testimony that we have overcome those challenges. But it was not easy. Today's announcement of the 2021 National Senior Certificate Examinations results is a special meeting that deserves distinctive attention for a number of reasons. These learners not only had to deal with a reduced exposure to face-to-face teaching and learning, but also had to contend with the anxieties and the trauma of COVID-19. Countless families have been pushed to the limits of financial endurance from loss of jobs and income. Not only this, but also many families have lost family members and friends due to the pandemic. Children have lost their parents, grandparents, and caregivers. We often do not consider the psychological effect of this pandemic on our learners. One of the purposes of this event is to celebrate not just the top achievers, but to pay homage to everybody in the basic education sector for the contribution in the recovery efforts. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. We thank each and every teacher in the sector. We thank union leadership, leaders, school governing body associations, and school governing bodies in schools, civil society, parents, caregivers, school principals, teachers, staff, education assistants, and general assistants. We know that it's a concerted effort. It's not a one-man show. So we truly appreciate the work that you do. Let me thank our MECs. I know Minister has thanked you, but let me add to that. Every time Minister would say, I'm not doing anything, I'm just a minister. MECs are the ones that are doing the job. So you must know that you are always appreciated by the minister, and you are indeed doing a good job. Whether from the top province and the bottom province, there's nothing called bottom, because we saw here learners coming from Limpopo, coming from Eastern Cape, coming from all over the country. It shows it's a result of the work that we are doing in the sector. So we don't only thank the grade 12 learners, we thank all learners in the system, because grade 12 starts at grade R. So it's a work that has been there for years, 13 years journey. These ones, Minister, have attended grade R class, this class. So it's the journey that they started 13 years ago. The Director General, the team, DDGs and HODs from provinces, and all the managers in the Department of Basic Education and Provincial Education departments want to say thank you so much for the work that we are doing. Tonight, we also pause and appreciate the contribution of our sponsors. MTN South Africa, I remember last time, Minister, I didn't mention sponsors by name. Then DG said, no, DM, don't do that. You must mention them by name because they'll run away. MTN South Africa. AFBOP. Yeah. Antika. Fundi. Kagiso Trust. Standard Bank. Vodacom. Industrial Development Corporation. We thank you, our sponsors, and we wish that all businesses can know that education is everybody's enterprise. It's not only for basic education or whosoever, but it's everybody's enterprise. So if we say we have business, our first business is education, because we must educate the nation. Program Director, in closing, I wish to thank our learners from Elson, and to have top achievers. A learner, okay, I will mention it, who may not be like me and you, that we can see, we can hear, but they are committing themselves to give their all in their education and the future of this country. Minister, I see my district director from Muteo is looking at me that I didn't say thank you. He's looking at me, he said, the lime is the color for Muteo. So we appreciate the good work. Appreciate Swane, appreciate Muteo, and all the other districts, including the bottom performing districts. We are going to work very hard to make sure that we lift them up. Wish to thank the SABC for the ongoing partnership with the department. And we heard the chairperson today indicating some of the new ventures that they are bringing into the space. So thank you so much, Chairperson. Thank you so much, CEO of SABC Board. And we really appreciate the support which you give in different ways. And the chair and the CEO, really, you are working as a team, and we appreciate that. Last but not least, let me thank the program director for the day. Flo, thank you so much. You conducted this work in a decent manner. And we really, really appreciate the good work that you have done. Well done for the sterling work. To all our top achievers, thank you for your hard work. We know that it's only hard work that pays. All of you, if we can interview you, you'll never mention a teacher. Maybe a teacher will come number 10 in your list, but you'll mention yourself that I was committed, I was dedicated, I gave my all, I did not sleep, I did not do this. Then the teacher will come in the end. But want to thank the good work that is done by our teachers. Want to say to all of us here, let's travel safe back home, and we wish all of us the best in 2022. We should not expect 2022 to give us the best. Let's give 2022 the best, and we'll see we'll prosper as a nation. Thank you so much.
Very much, Deputy Minister. I really do appreciate it. So that's how we come to the end of today's proceedings. However, there will be dinner that is served for you, but I do understand some of my media colleagues do want to have a word with some of the youth. So some of the media interviews will certainly be taking place around there. They'll obviously come and speak to you whether or not you'll be able to avail yourself for those media interviews. And to the MECs, I was also working under pressure. My boss is right there. So I know what you're feeling. I do. All right, so a very good evening to you. Please continue to take care of yourselves, and to you, the learners, congratulations once again. And we look forward to seeing your names up there and really just representing all of us. I know it's a lot on your shoulders for young people, but you know what? You've shown that you're capable. So really, that is all on you. All right, congratulations. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.